2 beans plus 2 beans means 4 beans.
Nescafe uses lots more beans.
10 beans times 4 beans, and add 3 more beans,
Makes 43
rich coffee beans. Yes, you get
43 beans in every cup of Nescafe's real coffee beans. That's all there is in Nescafe's 43 beans in every cup. Makes Nescafe's the all-coffee instant coffee with a let's have another cup taste.
Extra beans means extra flavor. Today's Nescafe goes all the way for flavor with 43 choice beans in every cup. So be sure to always keep a 12-ounce jar of Nescafe instant coffee in your kitchen cupboard so that you can enjoy a delicious hot cup of Nescafe instant coffee.
Yes, you get
43 beans in every cup of Nescafe's real coffee beans. That's all there is in Nescafe's 43 beans in every cup. Makes Nescafe's the all-coffee instant coffee with a let's have another cup taste.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. The American Broadcasting Company presents Quiet Please, written by Willis Cooper and directed by Paul Guggenheimer. Quiet Please for today is called Calling All Souls. This episode first aired on October 31st, 1948.
I'll tell you what happened last Halloween, or All Souls, or All Hallows, or whatever you call it in your part of the country. I'll bet you can't guess where I was. Well, I was a couple of places, but where I started, I was sitting in a tight little room in a great big house. You ever been west? Well, you know, when you cross the Mississippi River on the Santa Fe from Illinois to Iowa, about 4 or 5 hours out of Chicago, Fort Madison, Iowa. Ever notice that great big place right alongside the riverbank on the right side with the big high walls and the towers and the big gates? That's right, the Iowa State Prison. That's where I was last Halloween. In a little cell, oh, very comfortable, all by myself, waiting, and not much more time to wait. Sure. The death cell. I was just sitting there playing solitaire on the edge of my bed, trying not to think what was coming up and thinking of nothing else but that. I was pretending I was paying the house $52 for the deck, and the house would pay off $5 for every card I got on the top row. I was $32 to the good this particular hand. I didn't hear anybody come up. I didn't hear anybody except the guard walking around until this voice spoke to me.
Red 9 on the 10 of clubs, Lewis.
Oh. Hello, Delbert. Yeah, that's right. Coming in?
Yeah. So how are you?
I'm all right. So far. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Sit down.
Yeah.
No soap, huh? Turn this down.
That's right.
Well, what'd he say?
Oh, a lot of things.
What?
Well, what's the difference? He said no.
It's tough, Delbert, when I didn't do it.
It's tough on me, too, Lewis.
Yeah, but they're not gonna hang you.
Well, I begged them to give you a 2-week stay at least, but, you know, he said his conscience wouldn't let him.
conscience, huh?
He said if I could turn something up in the next 2 or 3 weeks, well, he'd be tempted to give you the benefit of the doubt. But you've had 3 stays already now.
Couldn't you turn up anything?
Well, Louis!
Yeah, I know.
I've done everything I could.
Yeah, I know. But I didn't do it, Delbert.
I know you didn't, but you've proven it.
You want to play cards? I guess I don't want to play either. Well, I've done my very best, Louis. My very level best. I know. It's pretty tough on me, though, ain't it?
Certainly is.
No hope at all?
No hope at all. I mean, no witnesses with plenty of motive, and then your fingerprints over everything.
I remember. Only I didn't do it.
Well, who did? You got any idea, Louis?
No idea at all.
Well, I thought maybe you...
I just opened the door after I'd knocked a dozen times. I just opened the door and they were on the floor, I told you.
I know.
I was so shocked, you know? Well, I couldn't help it. I tried to... Well, that's how I got the fingerprints all over him.
Yeah, you told me.
I admit I didn't like Harris. Yeah. I didn't go for Etta much either. But I didn't kill them, Delbert!
You told me!
I just went out there and all I was going to do was ask him how much of the $2,000 he owed me for the pigs he could pay me, that's all.
You shouldn't have made all those statements about how you were going to get the money or else, Louis.
I know it. I shouldn't have gone through his desk looking for the money either.
I don't know why in the dickens you did that.
Well, I don't know either, but I said I was shocked. This was a good way to get the money. If I could find it, nobody would know, I figured. I knew if I didn't get it then, I'd never get it. They were lying there on the floor.
Well, now, Louis, listen. It was pretty hard convincing the jury you didn't do it with them lying on the floor and you going through the desk and blood spots on your suit and everything.
I know it, Delbert. I was crazy to do it, but I didn't murder him.
I know that. You told you.
Delbert, are they sure enough going to hang me?
Well, unless...
Unless what?
Unless they discover new evidence.
Well, now where are they going to discover that?
Well, they have to do it awful fast, too.
Where are they going to discover it?
Well, you tell me.
There isn't any more evidence. Whoever really did it covered his tracks too good.
I'll say he did. Well, you smooched it up fooling around.
By God, Delbert, I was just trying to see if I could help.
You were seeing if you could find the money, you mean?
I know I was foolish.
Now, did you honestly, Louis? Now, you wouldn't expect anyone in his right mind to believe your story, would you?
Well, it's true, I tell you.
I know it's true, but I couldn't make the jury believe it, or the governor, or anyone else.
How do you know it's true?
What?
How do you know it's true?
Well, I don't know. I just know it, Louis. I've seen murderers before, you know.
You don't think I'm a murderer?
Of course not.
Delbert, don't you think there's some chance of uncovering new evidence?
I think the only people who saw the murder, the only people who know who did it, are Harris and Etta themselves.
But they're dead.
That's right, they're dead, Louis. Now look, what I stopped in for, now listen, you want me to ask Father McIntyre to come around and see you now?
13 steps up, with your hands fastened behind you. 13 steps. You don't stop and you don't look around. You wait for the man. He tells you when to turn around, and then he says, "Stand here." You look down the 13 steps at the reporters. The doctor with a stethoscope hanging around his neck. You feel a man tying your feet together. Feel the floor give a little underfoot. See how the man stays away from the little trap door, reaching out to make the rope tighter around your ankles. Listening to Father McIntyre's voice in your ears. A little rustling behind you in the black hood over your head, and you can't see anymore. But you Feel the rope as it brushes against your neck, a little hairy and creepy-crawly against your skin, and the weight of the knot 9 turns on your shoulder, and the floor gives a little underfoot. No! I can't! I can't! I told you I didn't do it! I didn't do it! All I can think of is what my lawyer said. What Delbert said before he got up and opened the door and went away.
The only people who saw the murder, the only people who know who did it, are Harris and Etta themselves.
And Harris and Etta knew I didn't do it. Maybe they didn't know who it was that did it, but they know that I didn't do it. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't. And maybe they did. Maybe they did know. Maybe they could tell me. Maybe they could discover some new evidence, the way Delbert put it. Maybe they could tell me where to go, who to look for, or what I could find. I could tell it all to Delbert. He could go to the governor. I could get a stay. Maybe the evidence would be good enough so that they'd let me go. Maybe they wouldn't hang me. But Harris is dead. And Etta's dead. I saw them dead on the floor at their house, and they accused me of murdering them. They found me guilty. I'm in a death cell, waiting. Harris, Etta, don't let me die. Don't let them, Etta. Harris, have mercy on my soul. And when I heard the bell tolling in the distance, I remembered. I remembered what night this was. This was All Souls' Night. This was the night when the souls of the weary dead walk the earth again. I remember when graveyards yawn and tombs give up their dead, and the sound of the bell tolling in the darkness of the early evening, calling all souls, calling all souls. I wondered if my soul had to leave my body when I walk up the 13 steps and after, if my soul had to leave my body then, well, why couldn't it leave my living body for a while and go seeking the others who stepped from the tomb this night? The souls of the weary dead and the souls of the unhappy dead, the murdered, the kindly souls that knew. Then I sat down again, quietly. The fit of deadly terror was gone for a moment. I was exhausted and weak. I closed my eyes and the sound of the distant bell faded out as I thought, why can't it be possible? All these things are not mere superstition. There's some belief in every superstition, I thought. I can't die. I'm innocent. And only those two know the truth. Calling all souls, I repeated again to myself. Calling all souls. And I stood up. I stood up in that brightly lit, sorrowful place, and as I rose, I turned to look behind me. And there, on the bed, still in an attitude of despair, sat my body. And in a flash of darkness, the place faded away. The stone walls and the iron bars and the bare, narrow bed. The man in a prison uniform seated motionless on its edge. And I stood alone in the darkness of the place I knew. Tall marble shafts gleaming faintly in the starlight, curving gravel roadways, hedge-bordered, and the scent of moldering flowers in the darkness. The dry rustle of weather-beaten flag ahead of a low mound beside me. And loneliness. All the loneliness pressing on me like a living thing. The eve of all souls. And suddenly, quietly in the cold shadows, the little whispers of innumerable voices. The voices of wandering souls hastening past me, seeking their dusty desires across the face of the world they once all knew. And then a voice speaking to me in the dark, speaking my name in the darkness, calling me
Louis.
And another voice,
Louis.
And I knew, for these were the voices of the two they said I had murdered.
Why, of course you didn't, Louis.
Of course you didn't.
And a little boy ran up in the darkness and took my hand and laughed to hear my name.
You remember little Tommy, our little boy that died when he was sick?
And I remembered. And in the darkness I saw many another I had all but forgotten. Charlie Cullen that was killed in Romaine in the Argonne 30 years ago. Albert Newhouse, my Boy Scout comrade that drowned so many years ago. Grace Williams, who died at her husband's hand. Crowds and crowds of the ones who had gone before, spending this, their brief holiday, on their well-loved earth. And I, the only living soul among them, spending my brief moment with them to seek my life from them, one All Souls Eve a year ago. And I said, "Help me." And Etta answered me,
What is there we can do now, Louis?
"You know I didn't kill you, Etta."
Of course.
Of course.
"Well, they're gonna hang me for it."
You didn't do it.
"But how can I prove it? Delbert said if we could find new evidence
There's plenty of evidence to be found.
Where? How?"
Why, let me see. He found the money.
That's why you couldn't find it, Louis.
"But if he found the money, it must be gone by now."
No, he has some of it left.
What good does that do?
Why, there's a list of the numbers of the bills somewhere.
They couldn't find it.
Then look in the bedroom, Louis. Behind the third drawer in my chest of drawers. I know where it is. It fell down there.
Oh, that's wonderful. What good will that do now? Unless you tell me.
There's plenty of evidence, Louis, if you'll just look for it. He ripped his coat on the catch of the living room door. There's threads there that could be identified.
You know who did it? You know who did it?
Yes, we know.
Yes, we know.
Tell me, and I'll see. Delbert will see that he confesses. Look, I tell you, they're gonna hang me for it. Do you hear? Tell me! Oh, and you still hate me. And you haven't learned mercy since you're gonna let me die because you hated me when you were alive.
Louis.
You're gonna carry it beyond the grave. You're gonna keep it to yourself and you're gonna let me hang.
You hated us, Louis.
Yes, I hated you and I hate you now. Ghost or no ghost, soul or no soul, No, Harris. Have pity on me. It's all over now. There's no use hating me. Don't you hate the man that killed you? Don't you?
No, Louis, no.
We don't hate him.
But you hate me. You're gonna let me die. You know I'm innocent. You're gonna let me die because we didn't like each other on Earth.
Louis, listen to us. There's no such thing as hate anymore with
Then why
us.
don't you give me a chance to live?
Go back, Louis. Go back to your body.
Go back.
Go back? To die?
Dying isn't so bad, Louis. You don't see any unhappiness amongst all these souls, do you?
I don't want to die!
You'd rather save your life for a while at the expense of somebody else's life?
But I'm not guilty! He is!
Go back, Louis.
Go back.
I won't go back. I won't go back till you tell me who killed you.
Listen to me, Louis. You're tampering with things you have no right to know. Your soul has left its body before its time. You have come upon secrets that no living man should know. Your body is waiting for you. Go back to it while there's time.
While there's time?
It's only this one night that souls may walk the earth.
And when morning comes...
Well?
When morning comes, if you are still here, Louis, I can make no promises.
Go back, Louis.
Tell me the man's name.
No, Louis, it's none of your affair.
None of my affair? Don't you understand what I said to you? They're going to hang me. None of my affair. Listen.
There's no need for you to send your soul out seeking us, Louis.
I don't get that.
We have been waiting for this night, Louis.
Well?
Tell him, Harris.
He will have to come with us now.
Yes, that is the law.
You should not have come here, Louis. There is still time, but only a little time. If you go back now...
I won't go back. I won't go back until you tell me.
You have no right here, you know, Louis.
But I am here.
And now it's too late.
Yes.
You will have to come with us.
Where are you going?
Tell him, Harris.
We are going to visit the man who murdered us.
You what?
I told you there was no need for you to come here, Louis. We have a way of taking care of this man.
I don't know what you mean.
Haven't you ever heard of haunting, Louis?
Come with us now, Louis.
No.
You must come.
You're really going to haunt him and make him confess?
We are going to appear to him, Louis.
What he will do, we cannot say.
But when he sees us...
Well, then I'm going back to the prison.
No.
I'll go back. I'll call the warden. I'll get Delbert. Tell him there'll be a confession. Delbert will get me a stay of execution. Then when he confesses, I'll be... Who is it, Harris?
Come with us, and you will see.
No, I'm going back to the prison, I told you, to get things all set up.
No, you changed your mind too late, Louis.
Too late? Why?
No, Louis, you have meddled too much. You have gone too far. The souls of the living have no place here. But you have come.
We told you to go back while there was time, Louis.
Yes, but...
Now you must come with us.
No, I want to go back.
Come, Louis.
High up over the sleeping face of the starlit world, with the tiny lights of the living far below us, the broad, peaceful farmlands, the sleeping cities, the broad breast of the river below us, the universe throbbing with strange, compelling song. And above us, around us, the sense of a million souls, a myriad of countless multitude, returning joyously to their single night on the earth they loved. And I looked up in the clearness of the haunted night, and above me, the endless pathway of the Milky Way glowed with a strange splendor. And Etta plucked my sleeve.
The pathway of the souls, Louis, the way we all return.
And I saw the features of the ones I had loved, The strangers, the men, women, and little children, the boys in ragged uniforms, the bearded ancients and smiling babes in their mother's arms, and on their faces in the sparkling night, an expression of awful eagerness, of long-awaited realization that this night they would once again rest upon the mortal earth. And I, even I, the only living soul amongst all the multitude of the dead, even I felt an overpowering desire to set my feet this moment upon the reality of this earth. And I closed my eyes for a moment, and when I opened them, we three were in a room, and on a bed there was a sleeping man. Where are we? Is this the man?
This is the man.
This is the man.
Who is he?
Go and look.
Go and look.
I don't want to.
Go and look, Louis.
You must go and look, Louis.
He lay there, sleeping innocently as any child. The covers were drawn up above his face as if he were shutting out some childish boogeyman in the dark. But I knew him for a guilty man. The man who held my own life in jeopardy.
Look at him, Louis.
Look at him, Louis.
And I lifted up the comforter that hid his face and bent down to look at him. Delbert! Delbert! My friend! The man who defended me in the courtroom and lost. The man who had gone to the governor, or had he gone, to plead for my life. Delbert! The man who told me, of course I know you didn't do it. Of course he knew. Mortal men knew the murderer, for the defender of the accused man was the murderer himself.
Wake him, Louis.
No.
Wake him.
Delbert. Delbert! Delbert, wake up!
Louis, Louis, what are you doing here?
He came with us, Delbert.
Harris!
Harris and Etta, Delbert.
No! No, go away! You're only ghosts!
We are human souls, Delbert. Come to hear your testimony.
No, I won't tell you anything!
You murdered them, didn't you, Delbert?
No!
You murdered us, Delbert.
No, I didn't!
Confess,
I didn't
Delbert.
do it!
You did do it!
No, Louis, you can't be here!
Confess.
Well,
Confess.
Louis must hear you, Delbert.
Louis, I did do it! I killed them, Louis! I murdered them! I knew I could put the blame on you! I knew I could get you convicted and that I could save myself! I hated them too, Louis! Oh, Louis, forgive me, huh? Louis, forgive me!
Don't ask me to forgive you, Delbert. Ask Harris and Etta to forgive you.
Harris? Etta?
We have already forgiven you, Delbert, but you have done a great wrong to Louis.
You will be punished, Delbert.
No, I confess. Hey, I'll call the prison!
I'm going back to my body now in the prison.
Louis, forgive me!
Thank you, Harris. Etta, I'm going back.
Wait, Louis.
What?
Louis!
Be quiet, murderer. What, Harris?
You can't go back, Louis.
I can't go back. Why? What have I... What?
You must stay, Louis.
Stay? Stay? Why must I stay? My body's back in there in the prison waiting for me. I've got to go back and live.
No, Louis.
Why? Tell me why. Everything's all... Well, what's the matter?
You tell him, Delbert.
Louis,
Well?
Louis, you see, they hanged you half an hour ago.
The title of tonight's Quiet Please story was Calling All Souls, written by Willis Cooper and directed by Paul Guggenheimer. The Quiet Please theme is from César Franck's second movement of his D minor symphony. Gene Busker was our organist. The role of Louis was played by Paul Guggenheimer. Delbert was played by Art Moss. The role of Harris was played by John Krager, and Delane Krager was Etta. Until next time, I'm quietly yours, Ralph Swain.
A cream girl.
Tonight, show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Only Luster Cream brings you K. Duma's magic formula blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Gives loveliness to lather, even in hardest water. Glamorizes your hair even as you wash it. Luster Cream, not a soap, not a liquid, but a dainty cream shampoo. Leaves your hair fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen, soft, manageable. Gives new beauty to all hairdos and permanents. 4-ounce jar, $1. Smaller sizes, either tubes or jars. Try Luster Cream Shampoo and be a
Dream girl, beautiful Luster Cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a Luster Cream shampoo.